This is The Good Government Show.
In many instances, individuals don't understand the importance of county government, and it doesn't stand out like city government. It doesn't stand out like the federal government. You want to anticipate problems before problems come to you. You just can't sit back in an office and act as though you're air traffic controller. You gotta get out amongst the people that are there doing the work. I would like people that aren't on the inside of government to know that there are a large majority of people that work in government that are in it for the right reasons.
Welcome to The Good Government Show. I'm your host, Dave Martin. On this episode, we're heading to Columbus, Ohio and Franklin County. I talk with Kenneth Wilson. He's their county administrator. This is not an elected position. He's essentially the county manager, and Kenneth Wilson oversees some 14 county agencies with over 1,400 employees. That's a lot. As you'll hear, Columbus and Franklin County have, as does much of the county, a housing what's called a challenge. And I know this from a conversation I had that'll be airing soon with Columbus Mayor Andy Ginther, who also talks about the area's growth. Kenneth Wilson says at the county level, they're working on different programs to help build more houses and all kinds of houses. More importantly, Kenneth is also a podcaster. He hosts a county-focused show called Talk of the County. So give him a listen after this episode. So listen first to this show, and then check out Kenneth's Talk of the County. And Kenneth also, he played a little game. He turned the tables on me, and he interviews me, asking me about the Good Government Show. So listen as I take a turn in the hot seat. And that's all coming up right here on this, The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is sponsored by Ourco. That means our community. Ourco has found a way to make government more effective. Ourco provides the OUR platform, and this is an app that blends in-person and digital interactions to connect people with their government, their county, their town, their state. The Ourco app transforms meaningful conversations into reliable data. They can turn results into projects and programs the community has essentially already approved. It's sort of like a flash poll by phone, but without the call and in real time and wherever community members are. Maybe they're at their house or their office or where they're out just talking about local issues. Maybe the choice is between putting in more local buses or expanding the bike lanes. Ourco can get you an answer immediately. With OUR, you can engage your citizens or any group, learn what they want, and build programs and policies that advance your county, your job creators, your constituents. So visit ourco.com, that's OURCO.com, and learn how they do it. And while you're there, book a demonstration.
I'm Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator for Franklin County, Ohio, the largest county in the state. Represent a population of 1.35 million individuals, and here at the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference.
All right, and you are, so Franklin County is Columbus, Ohio.
Franklin County is the center is Columbus, makes up the center of the county. There is a number of other municipalities and townships that make up Franklin County.
So let's start. What's going on in Franklin County? What are the issues that you're dealing with there?
I think Franklin County's issues are issues that are a reflection of the country. We are dealing with issues of housing, housing affordability,
right?
Some of the pains of growth, infrastructure. You can't get enough dollars to invest in maintaining infrastructure. Dealing with issues of congestion, trying to come up with new innovative ways to move people and products.
All right. Well, what have you? We're the Good Government Show. So, what good government ideas have you come up with for transportation and easing traffic congestion?
Right now, there's a major initiative that is being advanced called Linked Us Bus Rapid Transit.
Okay.
It's a way to move people along our major corridors in an efficient and effective way, because you can't build enough lanes to get yourself out of congestion. And there's
but you can be more efficient.
But they can be more efficient. And in Midwestern cities, there is definitely a car bias. So you have to really get people to think differently about public transit and get beyond stereotypes.
Okay.
In major metropolitan cities, everybody of all walks of life have been using public transportation for their whole lifetimes.
I live in New York City. I take the subway.
Yeah. You know, Chicago to L. You know,
Yep.
And then you had the wave of light rail to try. And many cities have modest light rail systems, and it's all about exposing a broader demographic to efficient modes of transportation.
And are the people receptive? You said car bias. Are people receptive to the idea of getting on public transportation?
I think if it's clean and it's safe and it's modern, you can get people to convert.
And are you having any progress in installing bike lanes or promoting the use of bikes?
We have a bike share program that's relatively successful in our county.
Okay.
We have, like many communities, the scooter craze is everywhere.
Yes.
There's various vendors on our various street corners are changing the mentality of folks to just jump on a scooter, put their information from an app and get from places real quick.
Yes.
And population.
Is it safe? Is it dangerous? I mean, you see a lot of people zipping around without helmets on.
I think education is the key.
Okay.
Some of the maneuvers I see, I think user education is key in creating a safer environment. In central cities, you need individuals that are in vehicles to also think about pedestrians and to think about people moving via multiple modes of transportation.
You mentioned the first thing you mentioned was housing. And you said that that was an issue that you were trying to tackle. What is the housing problem, and what are you doing to fix it?
We have in Franklin County, Ohio, a housing issue on the supply side of various price points.
You don't have enough houses.
And you just don't have enough houses for
houses,
the number of people,
structures.
the different types of housing.
Okay.
We need across our county to update our zoning laws that in some cases are 70 plus years old. We have to allow different types of housing. We have to become comfortable with density, which in many communities, density is fear. We have to live closer together. We can live well and live closer together.
Well, I live in Brooklyn, so
gone is the day of everyone having a quarter of an acre and a 3-car garage and sucking up all the.
So what are you doing?
Land.
What can you do about it? What's being done?
You can provide incentives through policy to encourage builders to build on available land. You can also use various tax incentives to get individuals to build and rehabilitate housing in areas. You can also.
And do you have programs?
We have
addressing all of these
various
issues?
programs addressing all these issues, but the hill is so tall that you have so many people working on it. But it's like you're just trying to throw pennies in the ocean, it feels like.
Do you feel like you're having some success on some levels on some of these issues?
We're seeing some progress.
Good.
Yes.
We're the good government show. We like good progress.
We're seeing some progress. The county, we have a magnet fund that we use. Fees that are collected from housing sales, and we put that right back into the economy to contribute towards projects that are seeking LITAC, low income tax credit programs, and are building of affordable units, particularly units between 30% and 100% of an area median income. It's important to have that housing, particularly when in a community where you have a lot of new people moving in, younger people moving in. They need housing as they move up the income spectrum, and they're raising families and young families, and they need affordability. Everyone can't afford to buy homes if they all are at a price point that will make them housing insecure.
So you are the Franklin County Administrator. What is a county administrator? You're not an elected official, you're a county administrator.
A county administrator is an appointed official. In my case, I'm the highest unelected official in Franklin County. We have a 3-member board that are elected. I'm appointed to manage the day-to-day operations of the county and carry out the policies that are approved by the board. So essentially, I'm the CEO of Franklin County.
Sometimes you have to pull the county commissioners in and go, okay, let me explain to you what's going on here because you're not getting it.
We have to, they need a day-to-day manager, because we are a $2.2 billion enterprise. And rapidly approaching 7,000 employees, doing various things every day on behalf of our residents.
And I also understand that you are now the president of the National Association of County Administrators. Give me some hope. You talk to all these guys, your counterparts across the nation. How are we doing?
We are doing well. I believe that
it doesn't always seem that way.
We have, at the county level, we have a lot of very competent, dedicated managers. Okay. Professional managers.
Good.
That hold either some may be attorneys in the past, but the lion's share of us hold master's degrees in public administration and public policy, and we've worked our way through the ranks. So we are experienced in what we do, and we can manage the day-to-day challenges that counties face, both large and small.
What was your experience prior to becoming a county administrator?
My experience began after graduate school in state government, working at the state level, working in the state legislature, working on state budgets. In Ohio, state budgets are the vehicles which dollars go down, and a lot of programs, particularly health and human services programs, are administered at the county level. So those experiences of managing the state budget equipped me very well for originally being the director of the county's Office of Management and Budget, and managing all the county agencies and understanding as state policy changes that impacts administering government at the county level.
And that's got to be beneficial for the county because it's good to know people at the state.
Yes.
So some of your colleagues, do you still work with them?
Over the years,
level?
A lot of people have come and gone. When your career has spanned it, several decades, such as mine. But yes,
are you
know which county, which state agencies to turn to deal with county issues that may arise at any point in time.
We certainly hear and see and read a lot about government dysfunction, about the fact that we've never been a more divided government. But yet in your position, talking with county administrators across the nation, do you feel that way, or do you think that that's not the case?
There is a wide divide amongst individuals and polarization, as you point out. But as professional managers that just have to do the work and do the work well.
Have to fill the pothole.
You got to do that in any kind of environment.
Right.
You got to do the work, and you got to do the work well, and you got to be fact and data focused. Now, and provide residents with objective results that are based on not subjective things that you make up, but things that are tangible and real that they can see you doing well.
All right. Now, the reason why we met is because you host a podcast yourself.
Talk of the County, yes.
Right. It's called Talk of the County?
Yes.
And how often do you release it?
We have an episode every other week.
Okay. What made you decide to do that?
To inform, educate, and in an effort to inspire our residents, to get them to see what's good about county government and what county government does. There, in many instances, individuals don't understand the importance of county government.
No.
And it doesn't stand out like city government.
Yep.
It doesn't stand out like the federal government.
That's what brought us here.
It does as far as your day-to-day life and what impacts you. If you need a vaccine, if you need to know whether the restaurant is safe you're eating in, did they pass a health inspection, if your dog breaks away, if your dog gets loose and it gets picked up, you're going to go to a place that's ran by the county.
Or your county sheriff, or your county school system, or your county airport, or your county hospital.
Yes.
So what's the reaction been of the podcast in the county? So far,
it's been positive. Individuals have indicated that, wow, I didn't know that the county was in charge of all of these things, or I didn't realize that your colleagues that you're talking with have similar problems and similar successes, but it varies based upon where you're at in the country. And right. I want this podcast to inform our residents in Franklin County, Ohio, not about just what's great going on in our county, which is the primary purpose of this podcast when we conceived it, but to know what's going on around the country. And to know what's going on around the country will help our residents appreciate how well their county stacks up.
Well, I hope I was able to provide a little national perspective in the interview we did for your show.
Yes.
Good. All right.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate you having me on. So I did this to you. You're welcome to do this to me. Any questions you want to ask me?
What is the toughest question you've ever been asked concerning your show and why your show matters?
The toughest question, why does my show matter? The answer to why do I think our show, The Good Government Show, matters is because I hope what we're doing is we are giving people a listen and a window into how government works and how the people in government think. And my reaction, so far, my reporting has shown that to be fairly positive, that for the most part, it is good people who are working hard, who are trying to make a difference.
What led you to do this, to travel around and
So you're going to take another question.
People?
What led me to do this? One of my partners, Valley Park Productions, is our company that puts this out. And one of our partners went to one of his friends who was a county commissioner and said, hey, what does the county commissioners actually do? And the county commissioner laughed and said, do you know that's the question I get asked the most? So one of the reasons that we started this podcast and started this idea that led to this podcast was to explain what it is that county commissioners do and what it is that county government does and what it is that city mayors do and what it is that county administrators do and what it is that county executives do. And we've had all those folks on our show.
Good.
Back to me? Can I ask
Back to
questions
you.
now?
Yeah,
All right,
back to
good.
you.
All right, now that it's back to me, we're going to get into the questionnaire, the Good Government Show questionnaire, where I'm going to get your personal philosophy about government. Right now, you're listening to The Good Government Show. At Valley Park Productions, we've expanded. If you want to hear more good government, join me over on a new show I'm hosting, Leading Iowa. Good Government in Iowa Cities. I host the show with the mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, Brad Kavanaugh. On our show, we talk with mayors and other city leaders across the state of Iowa. We talk about what makes each city a distinctly Iowan city. We share ideas with mayors around the state. We talk about what works and how each city can do better. It's an up-close look at what's going on in Iowa and how the city's leaders are making Iowa better for the people in Iowa every day. There's a few fun facts. We talk baseball in Dyersville, Iowa. That's the site of the actual baseball field for Field of Dreams. There's a lot to Iowa. Come listen right here. We're listening now to Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities with me and Brad Kavanaugh. See you there. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. I asked you this on your show, and now I'm going to ask you on my show. Define good government.
Good government is grounded in equity. It's grounded in a sense of being efficient and effective and having a high value on the resources that are provided by the individual taxpayers, and having an understanding that resources are not limitless.
Right.
Therefore, you have to have a mind of being as conservative as those resources as you can. And conservatism matters in this case, because if you're conservative with your resources, you're able to spread your resources out to cover more problems and to provide more opportunities.
And let's define conservative here. You don't mean conservative as in
a political idea.
Republican,
I don't mean conservative as a political ideology.
Being a good money manager.
I mean conservative in being a good money manager.
A smart money
Fiscal
manager.
Prudence.
Now, you're not an elected official, and so I can't wait for your answer to this. The question I'm going to ask you is, how do you judge your success? Most elected officials answer by, am I reelected? But you don't get reelected, so how do you judge your success?
My success, I look at factors such as the county's bond rating. Having a double AAA bond rating matters to me as an administrator.
And what's your bond rating now?
AAA.
Okay, that's the best. That's the top.
That's the best credit rating you can have.
All right. Well, congratulations.
That's like an individual consumer. We got the highest credit score we have.
All right.
And all
that's
of the things that the credit score is built on is having stable management, having a track record of fiscal prudence. Having the capabilities to obtain the revenue necessary to deal with growing challenges, to not have a track record of being in fiscal distress, to have proof that you have a long-range forecasts for not just operating your government, but for capital planning, because facilities matter. The business we in, while we've learned that we can do a lot of things remotely, there are still brick and mortar buildings that are very important in government, and
sure.
those all need to work.
All right. Oh, good answer. So how should the people of Franklin County know if they're getting good government? How can they tell?
If they walk into an office and within a reasonable amount of time, they're able to receive the answers or receive the information that they need or to conduct their business and get back to their regular life.
And does that happen?
It's just that simple.
Does that happen?
That happens most of the time. And
do you do spot checks? Do you go down and walk into offices every once in a while and see how they're doing?
You see how people doing. You need to get out and see how people doing.
Do you
because you want to anticipate problems before problems come to you. So
yeah.
as an administrator, as a manager, it's better to be proactive and find out what's going on before it comes to you. If anybody walks in my office and they're a director and they say, I got some good news and I got some bad news, which one you want first? I always want to hear the bad news so I can try to come up with an answer to find my way out of that before I hear the good news. I don't need the flowers first because behind the flowers is something that needs to be dealt with.
Right.
It needs, because problems don't undo themselves.
No.
When things that are chronicled that go bad and they go down in history, it's a lot of times where somebody ignored a problem and thought if they didn't talk about it, didn't deal with it, didn't do something about it, somehow it's going to go away.
Do you go into different county offices and, the water board, anywhere that individuals have to go and interact? Do you stop into the offices just to see how they're doing?
Yeah, it's important for people to see you visibly. You just can't sit back in an office and act as though you're air traffic controller. You gotta get out amongst the people that are there doing the work, and you can't do it alone either. You gotta have a strong team.
Okay.
I have deputy county administrators that I work with that I have confidence in, and they do a really good job of covering the gaps where I can't be.
How many deputies do you have?
I have 2 deputy county administrators, and I have a third one that's vacant.
If people feel like they're not getting what they want, if they don't think that you're being as responsive, you and your office, as it should be, what can you do, and what should they do? What should the people do if they don't like what they're seeing?
When people don't like what they're seeing, we meet publicly at a minimum of twice a week.
Okay.
People show up in our offices and will state if they're not happy about something. They write when they're not happy about something. And we provide answers back when people aren't happy about something. Or if people really are curious and not happy at the same time, you deal with various public records requests for information. They want to know what's going on.
All right.
They feel like they don't know what's going on about a particular thing.
What would you like people to know about what is going on in government? What would you, as an insider, and what would you tell people who aren't on the inside of government?
I would like people that aren't on the inside of government to know that there are a large majority of people that work in government that are in it for the right reasons. They are in it to help people. They have chosen this profession over other things because they've had a drive somewhere inside to say, I want to be a public servant. Everyone doesn't have that.
Okay.
Because you, depending on what role you play as a public servant, you have to have a certain amount of empathy, and you have to have the ability to put us over me.
Okay.
A lot. You gotta really, cliche about, team first. You gotta really be a team-oriented individual to be successful. Everyone has their role. Some of us are inherently tuned to be in leadership roles, but you need people at all levels to really function at the highest level as far as a governmental entity is concerned.
So, who is your political hero, or who inspired you to get into government service?
There are so many people at different points of time. I mean, I could go back to I could go back to the civil rights era and studying the sacrifices of Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, individuals that were activists in not only political arenas but sports arenas. The courage of a Jackie Robinson, and
Kurt Flood,
I was a big boxing fan as a kid.
Okay.
And the confidence and charisma of Muhammad Ali was something that I was attracted to as a young man.
I've met him once. I shook his hand. They're huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, he was just that sense of confidence. He walked into a room and he would say it and he would back it up. And that's something that I've been always trying to emulate in my own life.
Did you box a little bit?
I went to a few, I was in a few community center boxing matches, and I, as a kid, I had a boxing bag in my basement, a little speed bag. All right. I came up during the era of Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. I thought, I gravitated towards boxing, probably even before football. All right. And I think it was because of that period in time. Boxers were just, very prevalent in the sport of boxing. Probably was at an all-time high during my opinion. There was probably,
in his prime, Muhammad Ali was probably as famous an athlete as anybody.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe Joe Namath after him. I don't know.
So it was just my time, I guess, in growing up. And then later, to see the challenges that President Barack Obama faced and how successful he was ultimately, even in the face of all of those challenges.
So did you want to be president?
Never wanted to be president. No? I've always, been approached about running for political office, and I've always just had a tendency to want to be that behind the scenes person to help others be
nobody
great.
Nobody grows up wanting to be a county administrator. What was your dream?
I actually thought I was going to be a lawyer.
Okay.
And I got pulled into a school of public administration as a stop in between.
Yeah.
And just got into this and didn't end up going to law school, and the rest is history.
For good or for ill, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I am not from Ohio. I've been to Columbus once. I must say. Tell me about your favorite dishes. What's a typical Columbus, Ohio meal? If I were to come there, what do we have and where are you taking me?
Columbus has unlimited dining options, great Italian food.
I'm from Brooklyn. Be careful.
We got, we do it well. If you're in the steak, if you're in the classic steak houses, we have steak. Asparagus. The classic white tablecloth meals.
Okay.
Jenny's ice cream.
Jenny's ice cream. Tell me about Jenny's ice cream.
Jenny's ice cream is great ice cream that came out of Columbus. All kinds of great flavors. I don't know if you've heard of Smith's sausage and famous cream puffs in German Village, and yes, it's just and because Columbus was a big test market for restaurants and have been.
Okay.
Wendy's Hamburgers was founded in Ohio, in Columbus.
Okay.
First Wendy's was on Broad Street in Columbus, Ohio.
Is there still a Wendy's there?
It's not a Wendy's there anymore, but it was there for the longest of time. So we have a lot of great food options. We have Donato's pizza, which is Columbus style, the thin crust.
Good. It's not Chicago pizza.
Edge toppings. We got that. I mean,
does Cincinnati chili make its way up to Columbus?
Skyline chili has made its way up to Columbus.
Okay. All right. And how do you order yours?
I'm a cheese and spaghetti.
So not all the way.
Yeah, not all the way.
Okay. All right. The podcast is called The Good Government Show. We like to end the show with some good government project. Tell me about a good government project you're working on now that's really you're proud of.
One of the projects that I've been involved in dating back to 2018 is a program called Building Futures. It's a pre-apprenticeship program that opened up doors for individuals that are underemployed or unemployed and exposing them to the various options that are available in the skilled trades. Trades have not been the most diverse field in many places across the country.
Okay.
And we've been able to bring about greater diversity, equity, and inclusion in the construction trades.
Good.
Since this program has been in effect.
Well,
and individuals have been able to become, involved in taking advantage of the fact that we are a community with so many cranes and so much development by learning how to be an electrician, learning how to hang drywall, learning how to do steel, how to do masonry, all of these.
Did you ever do that kind of work
jobs.
in your younger days?
I did not do that type of work. I worked in a furniture factory where you creating office furniture, putting together office furniture.
All right.
But not the construction work.
All right. Before we go, please, I'll give you an opportunity to invite listeners of the Good Government Show to listen to your podcast. Please go ahead and give us your pitch.
Yes, please check out Talk of the County. It's available. Search Talk of the County, Spotify, Apple Music. They are all available. We're in the process of getting to Amazon as well. They're a podcast.
Yep.
But check us out. We are focused on educating and inspiring and trying to sprinkle in some entertainment, because I like to ask a few surprising questions of my guests.
I hope I surprised you too.
Yep, you did.
Good. All right. Well, Ken Wilson of the County Administrator for Franklin County, Ohio. Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for being on my show, and good to meet you.
All
Best
right,
of luck.
good to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Where do you get your news from? Where do you get your state and local government news from? Because that's getting harder and harder. And it's essential to stay updated with your community. And it's becoming increasingly important to know what's going on in other cities and states, because they're likely facing challenges that you're grappling with too, or you're going to face eventually. That's why we'd like to welcome our new partner, Route 50, to the show. Route 50 is a leading online publication covering state and local governments across the country. They've written about states protecting themselves against the rise in cyber attacks, counties using AI to better support citizen services, local responses to crumbling infrastructure and extreme weather, and much, much more. There's a lot there. It's a one-stop shop for issues affecting state and local governments and their residents. That's you. That's all of us. Do yourself a favor and go to route50.com to see the topics and solutions they cover and learn what other people in government are doing. They also deliver a daily newsletter called Route 50 Today. I see it in my inbox every morning. I check it out, and you should too. Thanks again, Route 50. We're excited to have you on board and being a partner here at the Good Government Show. What is it that county government does? That's the question county commissioners get asked the most, and the simple answer is everything. On the Good Government Show, we're so lucky to have talked with so many county commissioners and other county officials that have shown us how effective county government is. County government dates back to, get this, 1634, making it one of the oldest forms of government in the United States. Think about it. Roads, highways, hospitals, schools, recycling, law enforcement, water, sewers, and most of the county, those services are maintained by the county. That's county government. The National Association of Counties represents all 3,069 counties across the USA. NACo helps county government work better together through things like sharing best practices. When county government works well, that's just good government. Kenneth Wilson only asked a few questions, but it's always fun to be on the other side of the questioning, for a change. And I really liked his answer about how he judges success. He said, as long as people can walk into an office and get an answer in a reasonable amount of time, the system's working. And that sounds like government efficiency to me. And as he works on housing, I like that he's thinking about it differently and different ways to do it. He said one thing we might have to do is learn to live closer together. And we'll hear more about Columbus on an upcoming conversation with Mayor Anthony Ginther. That's coming up. Well, that's our show for this episode. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, thegoodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.